friends, it's Amy at Doki Doki Forest. Welcome. I'm so glad you are here. Now today we are going to be making a mixed media page in my castle-shaped glue book, or mixed media book, because it could have a little bit of everything. This is a magazine turned journal. You may have seen this before, and then there are rooms and different things going on. And at the top, I cut different castle-y shapes. So as you turn it, some of the, oops, there's somebody I wanted to use on one of my pages. Some of the tops are pointy, and some are more like this castle squarish kind of shape at the top. So they're all different. And then I painted the front and back to look like a castle. And there's a little door here that does open. And here's the lady who greets you at the door. So today I'm going to pick a page in here, and I'm going to make a page that is inspired by Erika, who is one of my patrons over on Patreon. And she had an awesome idea for a room of shoes in the castle. So this mystery room of shoes, where did they come from? Who do they belong to? There's like a whole thing like that. So we're going to make a page in the very back of the book. We're going to use these pages. So you can see they're just magazine pages, reinforced with a little tape here to help keep it together. And I'm going to actually use this dark tissue paper, and I'm going to cover up the bottom of the page. And then I'm going to take some of this packaging paper. This is just paper that you get in all kinds of deliveries. And I just want it to be nice and wrinkly. So we're going to wrinkle it up, and then we're going to glue it in, and then we're going to paint it. Now this room we're creating today is actually going to be an underground lair. So this room is actually underneath the castle. So we're going to decorate this like an underground tunnel or cave or treasure trove. And then this is just going to be sort of like the floor, which would actually just be this color too, but I think I'm going to add this just for a little bit of texture. More texture, that is. So the first thing I'm going to do is just cut a little piece of this, glue it in here, then paint. And I'm just going to use watercolors and paint that really quick. Or I could do the watercolors first and then glue it in. And actually, as I'm saying that out loud, I think that's what I'll do. So first I'm going to crinkle this. There we go, because we want it to look like that. And then how much do I actually need? I think just probably, yeah, one piece is good. So let me just rip this. So we just made sure the whole thing was nice and wrinkled. And now all I'm going to do is take some watercolors and just have fun with the background. So if you want to do this too, go grab some of your packaging paper, and you can really use any kind of paint. It doesn't have to be watercolor. You could grab some acrylic paint and just, you know, make all kinds of stuff on there, all different designs. I'm going to use my big palette. Don't mind this picture on the front. This is my big palette. I've had this for years, maybe like 15 years at this point. And yeah, I love this palette. Of course, I do need to replace some of the colors. You can tell which ones, like Permanent Rose, I've used up practically. And yeah, some of the other ones. What was this one? Oh, here it is. It floated over there. There we go. So this is the palette I'm going to be using. So I got to wake these colors up. And, you know, I'll just be using some, whatever I have for browns and that sort of thing at first. Just to kind of, and again, there's no, you don't have to be like really too thoughtful. You know, you just go with the flow. Just put the colors on. Some may show up better than others, but we're just looking for a rocky dirt wall sort of thing. So add a little bit of this. It's actually not black. I think it was called Moonstone. So it's blackish, but it does have other colors in there. So that's a good one to use. And we can always like dry it. But see how you can see that nice texture coming through? It looks awesome. This is great for trees too. So I'm going to cover the whole thing because the parts that I don't use, I would definitely use in another project because I love doing nature-y sort of pages, whether it's a forest or it's a cave or it's underground in a bunny warren, you know, it could be anywhere. Adding some yellow tones, we'll see how they show up. And I'm going to add a little bit of green here and there, just for a little something. I'm going to blend it though, so it's not like a bright green, it's just like a hint of green. And even blue, you know, we could just do like a little hint of blue just to put some variation in here. It really comes out more of like a grayish sort of tone on the paper, but it's different from the other colors. So I like it. And then that way, when you're holding the page up to wherever you're going to glue it, you can see which parts you like the most that day. We'll add some more of this darker tones here and all around. But yeah, you get the idea. This is really all there is to it. And then you know what I'm going to do after I do this layer and this dries? I'm going to go in and I'm going to add some of my metallic watercolors. Because this is underground, there are going to be like some different either shiny rocks or gemstones, different things that you kind of can see sparkling out from the wall. Now, it may get covered by the shoes, but I'm going to make the page and then, you know, if it gets covered, it gets covered. But I absolutely love using this paper. You can use it for all kinds of stuff, even just to put texture on a page. It just is so cool. Let's see, this is a yellowy color. Nope, I think I have green on my brush still. And let me see if I can get a little more of this, like, is this burnt sienna? What color is this? I forget now. It's almost gone. Let's see if we can get a little bit in there because that's kind of a nice reddish brown. Some of the colors, I should have written down on my palette what they were long ago when I put the colors on because I need to get some replacements. Some of them I can figure out what they are, but some of them I kind of don't remember. So this big plastic palette is kind of nice because you could take some kind of a pen, like a permanent ink pen, and write on the side. Maybe even a Posca pen, or Posca marker, rather. Might be able to use that. All right, now I'm going in and I'm just going to make some specks of paint here. Just flick some paint onto the page, and we'll use a couple different colors. And that's basically just to make it look more rocky, perhaps. And again, I don't really know how much of this will show at the end, but we're going to do it, and we'll just see what we get. So now I'm going to liven up this color here. This is a Kuretake Starry Night color. It's more of like a bronzy sort of a color. My gold is just about gone. I have a little bit though. Let's see what I can get. And I'm going to flick this on. And this is like the hints of, you know, when you see a shiny stone, like a mica rock in the wall, or, you know, these could actually be little pieces of gold. And we're just going to put this all over the place. And we could use the silver too. I've got a silver. I may not even have to go in here with the metallics because once I use these may be enough to get the sort of shiny gem-like effect that I'm looking for. So I may not need to go back in. And this silver shows up really nice if you have it on the darker paper, like this craft paper, or obviously a black paper would look great. And we'll just put it all over the place. And then we'll let it dry. And you can add as many colors as you want. Of course, you can splatter as many colors as you want all over the page. You could put some pink in there. Maybe there's some pink stones shining out. You could think about if there's like emeralds or rubies or whatever, and then just go with that. Okay, so that looks good to me. I'm going to let that dry, and then we will glue it into our book. Okay, so here is our paper all dried, and you can see that nice shine that we have. You can also see that the colors dry lighter, so they looked a lot darker, of course, when they were wet. If this is still too much for you, what you can do is flip it over this way and see how it's just like a very muted, sort of more gentle coloring here. So if you really want to make it more of like a background with just a hint of something, you can use this side. And if you want to go all out and see all of this, then use this side. So the next thing we'll do is, like I said, we'll glue it in here, and then I'll trim the top. And so you just kind of want to pick whatever you like. And I'm going to pick right in here because I really like this dark paint flecks there. I really like those. And yeah, I just kind of like how it looks. So I'm going to go ahead and actually there's a perforation right there. So I'm going to go ahead and use this. Oh, actually I have to move it up a little bit though, because I'm also going to put that other tissue paper down here. So I'll probably put it about like that. So let me glue that on, trim it, and then I'll be back and show you what it looks like. Okay, so here's how it looks glued on. And I just put this white paper behind it so you can kind of see the edges there where it ends. And as you can see, there's still a little room at the bottom here. Let me zoom out just a little bit. There we go. There's still some room at the bottom here for our other paper. And this is what is left. And even this little scraggly piece here, I'm going to save because I was thinking I might even make some shelves, like some stone cave wall shelves or something like that. So I'm going to hold on to, I would hold on to it anyway, but I'm just letting you know that one of the things I'm thinking of using it for right now, probably over here, these like scrappier pieces, is that I could kind of like crunch them up and make like a little shelf. So we'll see, that's a possibility. But for right now, I'm just going to take this and glue it on to the bottom here. It's just to have something a little different at the bottom. Because like I was saying, even though the floor would be this kind of the same as the walls, it would all be the same. I just want to have it look a little bit different. So who do you think lives in our cave down here? Who do you think is collecting the shoes? You'll have to wait and see, but I'm curious if you have any guesses. And this is just going to be jaggedy, and it doesn't have to be neat or perfect. Nothing ever has to be neat and perfect, but especially not your art, and especially not a cave. An underground lair. So we're just going to glue this on, and you know, you can even put it on in layers like this. You can put one layer on top of the other and just build it up however you want. And then we'll just trim the edges off. Actually, I think I forgot a little spot there. There we go. And I like the tissue to be like wrinkly as well. So I don't want that to be neat at the top. I want it to look more natural and uneven. Just kind of tuck that in there. And I think we're good for the floor. So we'll just trim this up, and then I'll be right back for the next step. Okay, so now you can see what it looks like at this stage with the tissue down here. Ooh, a little piece of glitter fell on there. That would be a good idea. Put some glitter in the background. But maybe I'll do that. I'm not sure. So here's what it looks like. It's all trimmed up. We have our tissue. Next, we're going to make our character who lives here. I'm not going to glue them on yet, but I do want to make them so I can figure out how I want to put the shoes. So I'm going to take this little piece of watercolor paper, which I think is a pretty good size for our character. This is just a scrap, but I think it would work out great. So we're going to draw our character who is a troll. So there's going to be a little troll who lives here that's been collecting shoes. So let's draw that. And let me grab my pencils and we'll get going. Okay, so here she is, all colored and cut out, and I'll probably add some white pen, but I actually couldn't find one here on my desk. And you're probably wondering, Amy, what is going on there? Where's the other paw? But my idea was that she would be trying on a shoe. So I'm going to kind of glue this Doc Marten boot on there as best as I can. Now, if you're wondering what's happening here, I think that she has been really influenced by Cinderella. She's been listening to the stories of Cinderella. Maybe they're reading it in the castle, and she really wants to have a shoe collection. So her hair here is supposed to be similar to Cinderella's hair here, with the headband and then the bangs. And this is really like fur. It's not really hair, but she's kind of trying to arrange it so she can look like her idol Cinderella. So maybe this is a modern castle and she has seen them watching the movie. But let's get our shoes. We have lots of shoes here. They're all different sizes, and I don't know how many we'll get on the page. And I'm wondering if I should I think I'll build like a couple of shells, even if they're just in the background. So what I'm going to do is take a bit of this and tear it and see if I can kind of make like a shelf sort of situation. Like, can you even see that? If I did something like that and then I put like shoes that she's collected on there, I think it would look cute. I might have to paint a little something. Maybe I'll paint a little alcove behind it or something like that, so it looks like a little nook. But let's just start gluing. I won't make shelves on the whole thing because I have some big shoes to fit on. So I want to make sure I get those on. Actually, you know what I'm going to do? I think I'll use my tacky glue for this. All right, this Fabri-Tac may have seen its last days. It seems like it's mostly stuck in there, but maybe I can just use a little bit of it. And then I think what I should do is paint a little dark spot back there so it shows up. So let me grab my watercolors real quick. And let's see if we can just kind of paint like a little alcove, a little shoe nook back here. And I don't really need it to be anything fancy, but just to kind of hopefully maybe make this shelf stand out. Maybe I'll even make this a little darker. Make the shelf a little bit darker than the wall. Maybe that'll help it. I don't know. We're just experimenting and playing. So we'll try that and we'll see. And I think I'll make, putting my watercolors down there, rolling around. And I think I'll make one more for now. Just kind of stick this over here, and then I'll glue some shoes on and we'll see. We'll see if we want to make another one or not. I'll make two for now. So I'm going to use a little bit of glue stick and squish that on there. And I could come back in with some tacky glue if I need to. I don't know how well the glue stick. I mean, it should hold. It's just paper, but it is crunched up paper, so we'll see. All right, so we've got two shells. Let's paint a little something here. Just kind of make that hopefully stand out a little more. This is her shoe display. All right, so let's do that. We'll see if we like that. We can always add more if we want to. And if we don't like it, we can cover it up with some shoes and take those pieces off that we added. So let me let that dry for just a second and then we'll get to the gluing. All right, so she will be over here. We know that, with her boot like that. So let's leave space for her there. And then over here, look at these shoes I have. I even have a Cinderella. This was an ornament that you could collect. So that would probably get a place of honor up there, don't you think? And then I have this one too, a Snow White shoe, which is really cool. And I feel like maybe that could get a place of honor over here. So maybe I'll put a little mini shelf right there. Let's glue Cinderella up here though, because I really do feel like this would be the shoe in her collection that she is like the most proud of, because it has her idol on there. So yeah, she's been sneaking around the castle, sneaking shoes. Oh my gosh, that was a bad pun I wasn't even trying for. She's been stealing shoes from the castle, but not just that. She goes around in the forest and she collects shoes from magical creatures in the forest that may have a shoe collection. So she may have like a giant's shoe, like something like this is really big. So she's got that. That looks cool right there, I feel like. Maybe I'll do the one that's facing this way, or I could do both of them just kind of like they're kind of like scattered there. So kind of like, I like that a lot actually. So let's put those on. I really do like how these look. Right here. Make sure they're actually on the page. But yeah, this is a really great idea from Erika, because normally I don't collect shoe pictures too often. I did collect these ones previously. These are older images that I haven't used. I've just been holding on to them for, you know, that famous something that we're all holding on to things for. So this is a great chance for me to use them up, and I love coming up with the storyline for the shoes and everything. So thank you so much, Erika, for suggesting this. And if you have a suggestion for a room in the castle, let me know, and I may be able to do it. And if not in this book, perhaps in the next glue book. All right, so let's put this one. I like them kind of stacked on top of each other like that. I think that looks good. Let me see. I have another giant shoe here, and I could just put it behind her like decoration. And I have this one as well. I've got a lot of shoes, so I mean, she could just be standing on a shoe too. Like, you know, I can just use these for kind of like background. And then I have some smaller shoes. So these smaller shoes would probably go in here. And sometimes she just has like one shoe. So she didn't collect both. She just has the one. So I think that would look good on that shelf. And then what else do we have? We have some shoes like this. Maybe I could put those on the shelf with them. Those might stand out a little better. Do those stand out a little bit now that I painted? Yeah. Well, I don't know. I like those too. I think I'll go with the light ones there, though. Unless I put the light ones down here. And then I have, let me just see what else I have. I have these ones. I could just have these, like, floating around here. Maybe she hangs them on the wall like this, like decorations. Like she just nails them to the wall, or she has little hooks or something. She hooks them on. I don't know what she does. She's just decorating with them. She may not understand exactly how to use them. Although she does, because she's trying on her boots. So actually she does know what to do. And I like the color on these ones. I like these two blue just because I like the color. So I could use that over here, just like behind her. I could do something like that. Like she's got her sneaks there. I've got this here. We've got the boot down here. I could put these here, and then this big one, and then I have this big one too. Whoops, a little piece of paper came flying in. I have this little, big shoe. So I could do that if I layer up over here. If I do like that, and then I do like that, something like that. But what about Snow White? Because I really like this one. And I really do think she wants this one in her collection. So I could put her more like that. I could put this shoe like this. I feel like that might be too many shoes unless I Unless I kind of go over the in-between here, the middle of the pages. I don't know. I think that might be too many. I like having them go in different directions. So I could do something like that. I could do like that. Yeah, let's just do that. Maybe I'll have this one peeking in. It won't be the whole thing. Maybe it'll just be part of it or something. And again, these pages are so fun because you can keep adding to them. There doesn't have to be a point when you're done. So like if I'm going through a magazine and I see like another shoe, especially if it's a small one, because I have room for more small ones, it would be really cute because I could add that in here. And then it's a fun room because you could talk about like, well, who owned these shoes? Does each pair of shoes have like a story to tell? So that could be a whole fun thing you could do as you're looking through the book. You could pick a pair of shoes and tell the story of who owned these shoes. Did they lose the shoe when the troll found it? Did the troll take it from them and they were like, where did my shoes go? Were they a human? Were they a magical creature? There's just like so much you can do with shoes. With anything, really. That's the point, is that there's just so much you can do with anything. Okay, so actually this would look good stacked on top of each other. Here, see, I am... Oh, this foot, she could be standing on there almost like she's trying to slide into that one. And then she's got this one on. Let me see. Maybe if I put it that way so it's more like a stack of shoes. Well, I don't know. I think I don't like that as much. I'm going to take that one out. But let's put another shelf in over here. So where do we need our shelf? Somewhere like over there. And again, this probably isn't going to look the same as when I held everything up. And that's okay. That's just what happens. Let me see. No, that's too high for that shoe. So we need it to be like... It can be in that little... Well, no, I want it to be safe. So let's put it... We put that there. And this would have to go here. See, it's like measuring when you're actually putting shelves up on your wall. Instead, we're measuring for the shoe. Now, see, I kind of covered up the alcove that I was making back here, so you don't even actually see it. So I think I could just probably just glue that on. Okay, I did actually decide to make a shelf with a little alcove there, and then I just darkened these two so you could kind of see them more. And then I think what I'll do too, just to help them stand out, is to kind of take this micron pen and just sort of make like an outline, a little sketch outline of like the edge where that would be. And hopefully that'll kind of make it stand out just a little bit more so you can tell this is something going back into the cave wall. So there we go. Yeah, do something like that. And then I might outline like these shoes too, just to help them stand out, like kind of just give them a little something just to, you know, help them to pop a little bit. I was thinking I could do a little watercolor too, so I think that would be good too. But I don't know, for some reason I kind of want to have like little sketchy lines, not neat lines, just kind of like little sketchy lines. You know what? It's almost like, you know when people do that when they hang up their pots and pans on the walls and they sketch where they go? Whoops, sorry. Maybe that's what's going on here. All right. So let's see, we want this sneaker to be over here. So we can just go ahead and glue that down at the bottom. I'm going to put a little glue on the tissue and a little glue on the image to help it stick, because this bumpy texture sometimes can be a little tricky to glue on. So let's just, whoops, that one off the page. Let's just put that right here so it's on the page. And then we can do our sneaks over there. And again, it's okay if they get a bit covered up, or we can layer them. Actually, I think I want to do this one first and then probably this one underneath. And we'll kind of layer it like that sort of a thing. Just have them on top of each other. I like that. And then, should I put, she's going to go right there. Oh, wait. So we don't want to put those there. So hold on. She's going to go right here. So could we see, let me get my Snow White shoe on, because that's an important shoe. We want to make sure we see that for sure. So let's get Snow White on there. And then we'll figure everything else out. So let's see, did I make this, oh, looks like I didn't paint this little alcove quite big enough. I think this shoe's also going to go off the edge a little bit there, off the edge of that shelf, but that's fine. So yeah, you know, maybe this is good enough. I'll just make the outline like that. It's kind of a little bit of a messy outline there, but that works for me. I don't know why I want to do it like that, but I just do. So, you know, when you feel that like that, you just want to make some squiggly lines or whatever, just do it. And, oh yeah, I gotta outline those too if I want. What else can I have on here? I could do this one like sticking out. Or I could have it that way, and then we'd be able to see it. I could do like that sort of a thing. So let's do that. Let's just layer it up. Because I don't really have another place where I'm going to use these shoes, so I may as well use them on this page, even if we're just seeing part of them. All right, so we've got that. Didn't I just glue that down? And then we have this one. But I think the next thing would be to glue. Let's glue her on. All right, and then I'm gonna go ahead and glue her right there. And I will just put a rock on that so it dries flat. We'll let that sit for a minute. Okay, next up we're going to glue this Doc Marten boot on. I cut a little bit off the top so I could get that on her foot. So let's put that on because we want to make sure we can see that. There we go. All right, and then we have these little shoes, which could pretty much go anywhere because they're small. So I could put them like over here, or I could put them up here. I feel like they won't show up too well there. I do have this shoe. Maybe she has instead of a chandelier, she has a shoe-delier. I could cut this piece off. Maybe if I just do that and have it kind of like hanging down from the top. I think let's do it. Let's do it. I just want to use this shoe up, and I think it would be fun that she has a shoe-delier. Maybe I'll draw a little light coming out of it or something. She's using her shoes in all kinds of creative ways. So there we go. And these are the last pair of shoes I think I have, unless there's something on my desk that I don't see, which is always a possibility. And we'll put them, should we put the little ones here or over here? I feel like maybe this little corner needs a little something. I'm going to put that right there. Okay, now let's go through and see if we want to kind of outline these a little bit just to help them stand out, like there's a shadow or something. Or like I said, maybe she outlines so she knows exactly where these things go. Although these boots look like they were just kind of thrown a bit haphazard. And then we'll go over here. We'll do a little bit here. A little shadow on the wall there. But yeah, this has been a lot of fun. I've really enjoyed making this page. It's so fun to kind of take a random everyday sort of object, like in this case a shoe, and come up with a story that's like, you know, something a little different. So again, thank you to Erika so much for coming up with this idea of a shoe room. I definitely would not have made a shoe room. So yeah, I love that she got my creativity flowing with that idea. And then I love the idea of making a little troll for this room. I am really happy to have a little troll. I love the idea of it being a little underground sort of place where they live. So yeah, I'm really happy with like the little story that was created. All started with the idea of a shoe room. Okay, our page is now all done. We've got our shoes on the wall, on the floor, on shelves, hanging from the ceiling. I put a little candle in there. And we have our little Cinderella-inspired troll who is living her best life, surrounded by all of this treasure that she loves. So thank you so much for joining me here today. I hope you have an awesome day, and I will see you again soon.